What up, y'all? We're gonna try it one more time. We're gonna try it one more again. As soon as you come in, please hit the like button. The like is free. To like the video, it's free. It doesn't cost anybody anything. Just hit that like button, man. Let me know you in here. Let's get a roll call going. Where's everybody chiming in from? Get in here, hit that like button. Diggy 1D, where you chiming in from? Put your city and state. Where you chiming in from? Put your city and state. All right, come in, say what's up, hit that like button. Say your city and state. Where y'all chiming in from? Like number one today, Florida, and it's 65 on Dub. Say what up, teacher. Ashley Jones. Peace and blessings, brother Zoe from Omaha, Nebraska. What up, what up, what up, what up? Everybody tap in, hit the like button, and tell me where you tapping in from. Where y'all chiming in from? City and state, please. City and state. Y'all got to interact with me or I'll leave quick. Sacramento, what up? Oli TT, South LA, April, what up? When you gonna link up with Yusuf L? Yusuf L is the homie. I'd love to link up with the brother. Too much love. LOE, Springfield, Massachusetts. Somebody said home of the Super Bowl champs. That could be San Francisco. That could be shit. That could be New England. That could be Green Bay. That could be Dallas. Atlanta, Georgia in the building. We got PG County, Maryland in the building. What up? I never get to catch a live. Happy I'm here for it. Oh, awesome, Ashley. Zoe, I need to get with you about the 25 minutes of coaching. Columbia, Georgia. Yes. For the people who asked for coaching, I emailed everybody back and said, what time works for you? Man, your son is definitely talented and on his way to the pros. Did you play basketball back in the day? Gee, shit. Yes, I did. I played hoop. He watched me play as a kid, and as he got a little older and as he got better, I let him play with older kids and then finally adults. But yeah, I used to hoop like a mug. Springfield, Massachusetts, home of the Basketball Hall of Fame. Yes, sir. So what about what happens to the night show? I don't know what that means. Are you familiar with Tartaria? Or the idea that the old world is more advanced than we think it was? Yes, I'm familiar with that. Vanetta Colbert, what up? Shalom, Zoe, finally catch you live. Everybody hit the like. The like is free. Everybody like the video. Like the video. Like it, like it, like it. Now, we're doing a question and answer session. Do you guys have any questions for me? Did not know that, bruh. That's what's up. Apple don't fall far from the tree. Exactly. He fell a lot further than I fell from the tree. You know, everybody smash that like button. Y'all got any questions? What y'all want to talk about? Zoe is here. Does anybody have any relationship topics you would like for me to cover on the upcoming week? Anybody like for me to cover week, of course. But does anybody have any show topics they think I should cover? How surprised were you about that Colorado win? Not very surprised. Not really surprised. I knew they would win. Number one, although TCU is ranked 17th, they're not as good as they were last year. Number two, Colorado is not as bad as they were last year. And Colorado played them tough last year when they weren't as good. So Colorado is even better than they were last year, and TCU is worse than they were last year. I knew it was going to be a hell of a game. Should a relationship be 50-50 when it comes to bills? That's a good one. LOE, please email me that topic. My email address is vor106@gmail.com. vor106@gmail.com. Send me that topic, LOE. vor106@gmail.com. Will Furpo ever be on the So What morning show in the future? I hope so. That's my homie, Furpeezy, Furpo. He be busy than a mug. Is it possible to apply quantum mechanics and the theory of relativity into our daily lives? If so, how? Well, quantum mechanics is already integrated into our daily lives via technology. It is the most successful form of technology or science we have yet to discover or develop. And every aspect of our lives is inundated with the effects of quantum mechanics. You don't get a flat screen TV. You don't get a computer in your hand in the form of a phone. I mean, think of all the technological advancements we have. Everything they were doing on Star Trek, we're doing right now on our cell phone, with the exception of flying intergalactically in space. But everything else, I mean, if you look at the flip phone idea, people harken back to the Star Trek television show when you see these guys flipping the Star Trek, communicator devices, iPads, all of that stuff they had back then in the 60s when they were shooting that show. A lot of those things have come full circle. Even the earpiece that Lieutenant Uhura had in her ear as a communicator, you've seen Bluetooth in our ear. So in terms of technology, technology is inextricably intertwined into our lives. But you have to remember this about technology. Technology only deals with practical knowledge that we use to cultivate convenience in our life via technological advancement. Technology has very little to do with our psychological advancement or our spiritual and or metaphysical advancement. Let's see. New topic. What is your advice for Black singles who want to get into a relationship and build an empire? Is it even possible considering realistic obstacles? Well, yes, it is possible. It is possible to cultivate a relationship. The only problem is with everybody that is in a relationship, you have to remember this about being in a relationship. Everybody you're in a relationship with, and including yourself, is a work in progress. And relationships become unhealthy when we don't make space or room for the human part of your partner. The human part of your partner, the human part is the part that's going to hurt you. The human part is the part that's going to misunderstand you. The human part is the part that's going to lie to you, that's going to betray you. And oftentimes we get into a relationship with the idea or the notion that we're going to find someone that their humanity won't affect us in any way. I think if you want a relationship, you got to want to embrace the humanity of yourself first, and then the humanity of your partner. If you can embrace the human part of your partner, then when they fail you, when they disappoint you, when they upset you, you'll first have an understanding that, yes, you're a human being. And yes, I may have to rely on your intentions in this particular situation, to see what I'm gonna do moving forward. But if it's just a reaction, they hurt you, you hurt them, they hurt you, you break up with them. If it's just a reaction, then, you'll find yourself in and out of relationships. So, gotta make space for the humanity in your partner. Virginia Beach in here. What's up? Zoe, MFC, MFC. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Hit that like button, hit that like button. Everybody hit the like button. Hit it, hit it, hit it. I hope y'all weekend is going well. I hope you guys are enjoying your holiday weekend. I hope it's all good for you right now. What do you think about all these streets being named after rappers and some get their own day? It used to be about people like MLK and Malcolm X. Now it's about these rappers. Um, at the end of the day, man, whether you're a rapper, a football player, an NFL guy, Major League Baseball, politician, whatever, uh, for many black people, if you make it to a certain level of success, to a certain level of accomplishment, more than likely the people that were around you from the place that actually cultivated your gift are going to want to acknowledge you because you represent their city. I mean, you take somebody like Troop. Troop is an R&B group from the 90s. They came out of Pasadena. My experience of Troop when they were all in school with me at various schools was we rooted for them. We rooted to see them successful. Or take the R&B artist John B. Same thing with John B. He came out of Pasadena. So we rooted. We rooted for people that came from our community. So you can say that this stuff is reserved for the MLKs and the Malcolm X's of the world, but the reality of it is every one of these rappers came out of some community that had a base of people that wanted to see them win. So if some of them are now starting to be elevated to a certain position in life to where they get a street named after them, you got to remember part of the people that's probably sitting on whatever city council that is probably grew up rooting for that particular artist. Where y'all at? Y'all got questions? Y'all got more questions? Let me know. Let me know. Zoe, are you gonna bring Kev and Tiny Top and Dom to visit the Zoe What show? I watched Kev live Saturday. It was very interesting. That's cool. Again, those are my brothers. Love Timmy Tight Top. Love Kev. Love Dom. Those are my brothers. But you guys also have to remember, this isn't new for the Zoa show. For the Zoa show, sometimes we have regulars on that are regulars for many years, and then they transition into things that they want to do. They transition into their own platforms. And to answer your question, I would love to have my brothers back on, to do a show, of course. But it's all about them and it's all about what they need to do and what they want to do. And it's like I said, the door is always open. Any more questions? Come on, y'all. Y'all got questions or no? Again, if y'all got topics y'all want me to cover, email me your topic. Email your topic to VOR106 at gmail.com. VOR106 at gmail.com. Could you go in depth about the difference between spiritual and technical knowledge? Memory. Technical knowledge deals with memory, right? Knowledge is a reflex of memory. I have to remember how to make a chair if I'm going to improve on the design. I have to remember how to cultivate or how to create a television if I'm going to improve on the design. Technical knowledge is knowledge that is useful. We need to know how to build the bridge. We need to know how to build a building. We need to know how to build a car. Knowing is remembering. Knowing is the past. So when you remember, knowledge is a reflex of memory. Now, the spiritual piece is that, again, psychological knowledge is the shit we struggle with in interpersonal and or intrapersonal relationships. What we're calling spiritual knowledge, right? We remember, I was hurt when I was a little kid. And that psychological knowledge is way more difficult to deal with because how you reconcile it is through your non-judgmental observation and ultimate embracing of it. See, you see how hard it is to say, man, my mom ignored me when I was a child. She did not give me what I needed. And so because she didn't give me what I needed, I developed an attachment style, a maladaptive attachment style. So what comes with that attachment style are potential attachment injuries. So when I attach to somebody thinking they might give me something that my primary caregiver didn't give me, when I don't get it, that's an attachment injury. So spiritual knowledge, that's spiritual. Damn, I went through it. So then the spiritual questions become, why did I go through it? Why was I triggered? Oh, I was triggered because I was raised this way. Do I have to stay this way? Can I embrace me as being broken or damaged or flawed? And if I can embrace myself without judgment, then that attachment style and its needs can be better controlled. Does that make sense? You can now say, oh, my attachment style is anxious, preoccupied. So that means when my partner pulls away, I lean in. But me leaning in is actually the force that is used to push them away. So now that I have a better understanding of the psychological knowledge of what happened to me, I'll know, you know what, now's not the time to lean in. Now's the time to pull back. Just because they're pulling back doesn't mean they're running away. They might be pulling back to have a moment of air, of fresh air. Like, this is heavy. Let me pull back so I can recalibrate and recenter myself. People who have an anxious, preoccupied attachment style see that pulling away of their partner, they see that as, you're running from me. No, they might just be needing a moment to clarify, a moment to breathe. So, you know, that's how psychological knowledge varies or differs from technical knowledge. Technical knowledge is, I am a mason. I lay bricks. You lay these bricks in a certain way to build a solid foundation. That is a technical, that's an example of technical knowledge. I am a brick mason. I build buildings. If I build them incorrectly, the foundation of these buildings and the integrity of these buildings won't be solid. They won't be inhabitable. Technical knowledge involves technology. It involves convenience. Psychological knowledge involves what has happened to you as you grew up. What communication style did you model? What conflict resolution style did you model in your home? What attachment style did you get from your primary caregiver? Technical knowledge is the reflex of memory. Psychological knowledge is the reflex of what you've been through, is the remembering of what you've been through. This is why somebody like Gurdjieff, Gurdjieff was a linguist. No, that's Korzybski. That's Korzybski. I'm talking about Gurdjieff. George, I think his name was George Gurdjieff. Gurdjieff created a meditation practice called self-remembering. So you remember the self that was created when the self was hurt as a youth. so you can free yourself from, what has happened. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Thank you guys on the likes, man. I appreciate the likes. Technical knowledge involves applying. Well, let me just say this about knowledge. Knowledge itself, all knowledge, involves application. To heal yourself of psychological knowledge, the application involved, just like self-remembering, is about, number one, observation. But how do we observe, or how do we observe? Normally, we observe through the filter of what we've been through. So, I'm observing a situation stuff like that before, and it usually don't turn out well. So, it is the past interpreting the present. I've been through that. This looked like some mess I've been through before. This could be that. So, where there is the past, there will be an interpretation, and there will also be a projection, right? This could be that. Or the interpretation, this is that, based on what you've been through. So in order to see things clearly, you have to see things with a clear mind. And the clear mind can only be cleared when you look inside and say, it happened to me, but it is not me. It happened to me, but in some cases, it happened because of me. Do you see? Do you see how this works? Does this make sense? Are you guys paying attention to what I'm saying? Does this make sense? Hey, seriously though, I'm looking for some real topics. I want to feature all of you guys. I want to feature your topics this coming week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I want to feature topics from this audience. I want to feature topics from this audience. All next week, I want to say, yo, this is Viewer Appreciation Week. We are using all of your topics. Thank you, Brother Zoe. I'll definitely be getting some coaching from you soon. The info I've learned from you has very good for my growth. Thank you, brother. I don't know what blue monkey means. Can you go over the questions that you have in the back of your book, The Holographic Relationship? Well, I don't have the book here with me, but if there's a question in the book that you would like for me to address, just write it out right now and I'll address that question. Y'all got the questions? Let me know. I'm here. Your brother Zoe is here. I'm here. Y'all got the questions? Ask me the questions. The relationship dismount got me together. Thank you. Travis Gibson says, let's talk about Black femininity. Well, we would like to have the women to also participate in that. If we're going to talk about Black femininity, it would be good to have the sisters lead that discussion. Maintaining peace. Zoe, can I get a reading? My sign is Leo. Wayne Stewart, what is the birthday? Let's talk about a hot topic about the future of the youth. That's a great question. No question, Zoe, but been following you for a long time, always respected you above many others on this internet BS, you the man. Much respect. We have to say in what context we want to talk about Black femininity. Is it easier to end a relationship than it is to face the internal flaws that the relationship revealed about you. I think it's easier for most people to end the relationship. Let me just give you mine right here. There's really no reason to end a relationship unless a motherfucker is violent, unless a motherfucker is robbing you of money, unless a motherfucker is robbing you of peace. There's really no reason to end a relationship. If you really logically look at it, everybody's a work in progress. You're gonna have problems with everybody. Typically it's the same old story. Tell me if I'm wrong. You guys correct me. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's the same old story, right? Off good, right? We are really vibing in the beginning, right? We vibe for quite some time. Say it's a year, say it's 2 years, say it's 18 months, say it's even longer, right? We vibe. And then we run into an issue. Usually the issue is something within us. Usually it's something within us. So there may be a type of betrayal that happens. We might not have been honest in the beginning when we've set up the relationship, right? Yes, you can, Vanetta. You know what I'm saying? We might have been honest when we initially set up the relationship. But most relationships with humans have flaws, have issues, have problems. In my opinion, you leave when you're in danger. When you're not in danger, you might be in pain, you might be in disappointment, you might be in fear, you might be in frustration, you might be in a sense of stuckness. I think that's not a real reason to leave a relationship. I think the reason people do that is because when they are in these moments where the psychological knowledge of things that have yet to be resolved, unrequited wounds is what I call it. The unmet needs of unrequited wounds. When you're in a relationship like that, typically for most people who haven't been cultured to look within, who haven't been cultured to take a look at oneself to see how one has brought negativity to the relationship, one has limiting beliefs that set them up for disappointment. Yeah, it's easier to break up with a person than to look at yourself and say, you know, I've created the condition for this type of experience to happen. So when I reference, you know, what's my guy? Robert Anton Wilson, his famous quote, which is, whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. Many times people have unchecked fears that are contributing to the relationship expectation. Well, that is going to create a self-fulfilling prophecy that is in alignment with Robert Anton Wilson's statement, whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. So if fear is behind your relationship expectation writing, make sure that they do this, because remember, the last person didn't do this. Make sure that they act this way, because remember, the last person didn't respect this and they acted this way. So when fear is co-authoring your relationship expectation, they are also co-authoring what I would call what I just said. They're authoring what I call a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, because the fear is trying to write in protection, but what it's really doing is inviting in, right, the very thing that it doesn't want to experience. If you don't want to experience betrayal, you shouldn't let fear be an advisor to you. Because fear is saying we don't want to experience this again. Fear is saying we don't want to go through this anymore. Fear is saying, so I have to protect myself by isolating, insulating, and pushing back, right? People typically allow fear to also co-author boundaries, and they become withdrawn and locked away, and they push back, right? Well, in doing so, you're actually inviting someone to come to you. with the same issue you don't want to experience. Because fear had a say. And if thoughts are things, fear is a thing. So it has a vibration, it has a resonance, it has a frequency. So if you're allowing fear to write your expectation, if you're allowing fear to co-author your boundaries, I say fear and ego, when they're involved in your expectations and your boundaries, they transform from being boundaries to being cloundries, because you're clowning yourself by not dealing with yourself. You're clowning yourself by not addressing your unrequited wounds. You're clowning yourself by not going into what I outlined in chapter 3 of my relationship dismount book, which is the cocoon. You go into the cocoon so you can heal, so you can take inventory and stock in everything that you've been through. You take responsibility from the level of what is yours to control is yours to control. So then you start to adjust and you get better as an individual. You see? Does that make sense? You see? So fear and ego and pride and shame and anger and guilt, if you allow these things to get a writer credit on your relationship expectations, on your relationship boundaries, they are no longer soundries. In other words, a sound boundary. What is a sound boundary? A sound boundary is a boundary that was created to be scalable, flexible, right? So it can grow as you grow. A sound boundary is one that is devoid of fear, pride, guilt, shame, ego. It's devoid of these things because it was born out of your objective, non-judgmental observance of yourself. In order to be in a relationship where it is meaningful, where it is fruitful, where it is healthy, you yourself have to have a high level of self-awareness. You can't be self-aware if you are afraid of certain aspects of yourself. If you are afraid to embrace and love on and accept without judgment certain aspects of yourself, you can't cultivate self-awareness. Where there is self-awareness, there will be fear-based, ego-based, guilt-based, shame-based contributions to your expectations of another. It was the great Veronica Conway who used to come on my show all the time. She said something that was really profound that led me to that understanding about relationships. She was talking about writing your business plan, having a business plan and writing it out. And one thing she said that was really, really powerful, she said, if you write your business plan and you allow fear to interrupt the process of you writing the business plan, or fear to be present while you're writing the business plan, she says, do you know that fear is contributing to the construction of the business plan? Fear is there with you, co-authoring. You're writing your fear into your business plan. And anybody who knows about it, man, you can't be afraid. Scared money don't make money. You can't be afraid. So if that principle is a reality, and I believe that all truth for one specific question that deals with one specific incident. So we could say this is psychological knowledge right here. This is the spiritual part of knowledge. It's a plan or the writing of a business plan. No, it's spirit. Whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. So if you're sitting here creating expectations for your significant other and they're born out of fear, they're born out of ego, they're born out of shame. I can't fuck with this dude because other people might think I'm stupid because of what he put me through. Or if you're writing a relationship expectation from that mindset, you are writing obsolescence into what you want, into what you want to experience. Does this make sense? Are y'all listening? Y'all not commenting as much. Is it just because I'm talking too much? What are y'all saying? Bro, I've been married for 25 years and I can see what is going on with the youth. There is a lack of appreciation for black femininity. Absolutely. This is the reason why so many black men are going overseas. But again, they're going overseas because they're unaware of culture. Our culture is toxic. So they think toxic. This is how you get a passport bro. They think, oh, I'm gonna go somewhere else. But then you find out when you go somewhere culture. It's just like what I was telling my son when he first got to high school. I explained to him, I said, listen, man, although this place is only 20 minutes away from where you were raised, this is a different world. This is a different type of school. This is a predominantly white school right here. They got a whole different culture. They had a whole system that we had to hop through in order to be accepted into this school district. And when we got on campus, I said, understand this. You used to go into schools that are 98% black. This school is 98% white. It's got like 5,000 students, but only 300 of them are black. I said, you are now in a different world, a different culture with different social game rules. And I told him, I walked around the campus before, school started. And I told him, I said, look, man, this is a culture where you might see meth on campus. You might see cocaine on campus. You might see any number of things on campus. You might see racism. You might see all types of stuff. Because when we got there, there was a rumor that some black kid, they put a noose around his neck in the wrestling. And the basketball coach didn't really want us to know about that because he knew that that would impact our decision to go to that particular school. So relationships are the same way, man. They have their own environment, and where there's, their own environment, social game rules, it varies. So you got a lot of brothers who think they can go to another country and it be sweet. But I'm telling them, just like I told my son, you're in a different environment. There's different social game rules. And don't act like racism don't exist in other countries. And then when you get to another country and you see that racism exists, and you see this energy that says, we don't want you with our women either. Racism is worldwide. You understand what I'm saying? So you running from your sister here in America because you feel like she was raised a certain way or cultured a certain way and she lacks a certain kind of respect. Let me go to another country and get the respect that I think my sister is supposed to give me here. But then the question becomes, is the sister supposed to give it to you by default of your gender, or are we supposed to engender that in her via our presence, how we show up? Have you inspired her in any way, shape, or form? Or do you just demand that she behaves in a certain way because you're a man? What have you done to overcome the attachment wounds that you got from your primary caregiver? What have you done to heal the rift between you and your absent father? What have you done to heal yourself of anything that might be still lodged in your spirit somewhere? See, a lot of us brothers, we got an expectation that we think sisters should be a certain way by default of us just showing up. And the reality of it is, sisters show up the way you show up for yourself. I know you don't want to hear that. Somebody meme it. Somebody meme that right now. And that goes both ways. Sisters, brothers show up the way you show up for yourself. Brothers, sisters show up the way you show up for yourself. See, a lot of people did not understand, even though they were quoting Krishnamurti when he said relationship is a mirror. But a lot of people still don't understand what that means. So when you got therapists who are now integrating his high level of philosophy and spirituality into their work. Because now you got therapists talking about relationship is a mirror. Well, that's because they've done more research. And in doing more research, how did Krishnamurti arrive at this particular philosophical point without all the empirical data? That's because he was tapped into a higher source of information. That's what gave him the inclination to say relationship is a mirror. Now, therapists are saying we're trauma bonding. Our wounds recognize each other. Our wounds are compatible. Ask yourself a question. Most people don't even ask themselves these types of questions. Are our wounds more compatible with each other than we are? Without our wounds, would we even like each other? You've got therapists now saying things like, oh, our central nervous systems are actually relating to each other. That's what's relating, the central nervous system. Krishnamurti said relationship is a mirror. Now you got therapists saying attachment styles are relating to each other. The dismissive avoidant is usually attracted to the anxious preoccupied. They're opposite attachment styles that are drawn to each other. See, what most people did was they never took the time to marry what looks like divergent fields of study to see the similar through line through them all. So if holographic means whole writing, then that means the attachment style is holographic. How is the attachment style holographic? Oh, because it doesn't just apply to your relationship with your primary caregiver. It applies to every relationship you find yourself in. That's just like a hologram. If you take the holographic film and you chop the film up into a billion different pieces, every time you grab a piece of film and you hold it up to light, you'll see the whole image, the whole 3D image. Wait a minute, that happens? Yeah, the image is non-local. So that means the wound is non-local. That means whatever misunderstanding you modeled in your childhood, it's non-local. In other words, it doesn't shut itself off in business relationships, but then turn itself on in intimate relationships, or shut itself off in intimate relationships and turn itself on in familial relationships. No, it's present in all of your relationships. The whole writing, the whole experience is in every aspect of your ability to relate or not. Are y'all listening to me? Or are y'all having your own conversation? Hey, somebody just dropped $5 on the super chat. Wayne Stewart. Let me say thank you, brother. What did he say? July 25th, 1993. July 25th. That is Leo with a little sprig of Cancer on top of it. Of course, Leos, man, they are some of the best organizers when they get themselves locked into exactly what it is that they want to do. Once the Leo gets locked into what it is that they want to do, they can be some of the most incredible organizers in the game. They know where everybody is supposed to go. They know where everybody is supposed to fit. But that depends on their level of evolution themselves. Again, when you see the loud and boisterous Leo, which is typically the August Leo, not necessarily the July Leo, but when you see that type of Leo, that's usually because they haven't learned to regulate who they are as a person. They know there's something special, but they just haven't tapped all the way into the purpose. So the loud and boisterous and over-the-top, egoic, aggressive, uber-aggressive Leo is typically the Leo that hasn't found purpose. But once Leo finds purpose, then you'll see Leo at its best. Leo tends to organize better than anybody. And once they're able to surround themselves with the right people, they know how to delegate responsibility in order to get things done. And once a Leo pulls you into their pride, they will defend you as if you were one of their cubs. even if you were wrong, they're going to reprimand you and chastise the hell out of you behind closed doors. But in the moment of protecting what they believe to be a part of their pride, they're going to fight to the end, and then they're going to ask you questions later. So, you know, that's a hell of a vibe you got there, Leo, brother. Anything else? Anything else? Y'all want to talk some more? Anything else? Anything else, y'all? Hey, Zoe, did you get my email, sir? I don't know who Mikey Boy 15 would be. So I get a lot of emails, so it's kind of hard to just ask if I got your email. I could say, yeah, but if I don't know your real name, is the email the same as Mikey Boy 15, or is that another name that you go by? You should do this regularly. It's unexpected to many. Yeah, it is. That's why I'm trying to get the most out of it right now. You guys want to talk to me, now's the time to talk to me. And then I would also encourage everybody who hasn't done it, you should go buy a copy of my Shrouded Lighthouse book. Very powerful work. The book is available right now on my website, mrzowhat.com. I sent an email from July 29th. Once again, you're Mikey Boy 15 on here. Who are you, fam? What is your name? And what is the name of the email? Then I can go back and look. You're not giving me adequate information, my friend. Give me the adequate information. What is your name? What does the email pertain to? And what is the name of the email address? Then I can go back and go, yeah, I got your email. But just a random in the chat, Mikey Boy 15, did you get my email on July 29th? I got a shit ton of emails on the 29th. So if yours was sent during that time, more than likely, I got the email. But who are you? I'm just trying to figure that out so I can pinpoint your specific need. Does that make sense? Wow, thank you. Thank you. It's like the more self-work I do and spiritual I get, the less I prioritize or even want a relationship. Could this be fear of something? No, what it is people have asked me, and a lot of times people get my take on marriage mixed up. They say, I don't believe in marriage. I don't like the way marriage is currently constructed because I believe our experience of marriage is split. We have a schizophrenic understanding. We have a societal understanding where society wants us to be a certain way, or society says, this is a good woman. The Bible said this, my mama said this, my daddy said that, my people say this. You know, we have a societal pressure to show up in relationship and look a certain way. And I always tell people, to me, marriage is more about what the symbols of it symbolize. I'd rather have what marriage symbolizes over the symbols of marriage. Many people have the symbol. You got to understand. You say, what is a symbol? A ceremony. You talk to most people, a lot of people say, My wedding day was the best day of my life. And then you say, well, how long ago was that? Oh, we got married 6 years ago, 7 years ago. So that means your life has been getting progressively worse every day after the marriage, after the wedding. See, many people want the wedding. Many people can have the wedding. Many people got the wedding. They have the symbols of marriage. But do they have what it symbolizes? The circle in the ring, right? The ring, right? That ring, that circle, 360 degrees. Most people ain't been through 360 degrees of nothing. So when you go through something really bad, the way we're cultured in this society is to say that person is flawed, that person is broken, throw that person away. Well, like I said before, unless your marriage or your relationship is violent, unless your well-being is threatened, everything is it can be healed via spiritual practices, mindfulness, yoga, martial arts, reading books together, going to therapy. You can heal anything y'all been through, any type of betrayal, any type of disappointment, frustration, sense of stuckness. You can heal any of that, any of those things, if you shift your perspective, if you lock into things that actually build the positive aspects that exist in a relationship. But if you shift your focus to only focus on what has happened, and you feel like what has happened is so negative that it takes any desire or willingness to heal your situation, then the situation won't heal. That's just what that is. So when I talk about marriage, I believe in marriage with the right person. I believe in marriage with someone who I can have what the symbols symbolize. But it's hard to be with somebody just based on the merits of what society says is good. I want spiritual compatibility, emotional compatibility, psychological compatibility. And oftentimes we think we can have that just by meeting somebody. No, sometimes the universe will see your relationship, especially if you haven't done the work, the universe will see your relationship as uncooked bread. It's dough. So sometimes the relationship will infuse that dough with all types of different experiences. The universe, i.e., God, will need that relationship to get the air pockets out of. In other words, the universe will put you through some shit so you can reach your final state. So you can reach a particular state of awareness. So you can reach a particular state of understanding. And if you and your partner can endure this needing, this universal needing that's happening, God has got the rolling pin on y'all and y'all going through it. If you can weather that kind of storm, you can emerge transformed, right? You look at the clam. The clam doesn't create a beautiful pearl in a painless way. No, the clam is getting scraped up and scratched up. The clam is constantly intaking sand so it can breathe. The clam is taking in all types of debris. And through the process of bringing all of this together, that's how you get a beautiful pearl. But many people don't like the discomfort or being rubbed the wrong way. The clam is constantly being rubbed the wrong way by the debris that it's taking in. But it's also in the process of making something beautiful. Many of us, we spend more time focused on what is hurting as opposed to what beauty the hurt is actually creating. Y'all not asking questions. Did I answer that question? I got you, Michael. I got you, Michael. I'm gonna look at that email and I'm gonna check in and see what's going on. Wow, people fear the idea of pain and thus they avoid the process of refinement. Ashe, ashe, ashe. You guys have done a wonderful job on um, the likes. I appreciate those on this Sunday afternoon who have dropped a few coins on this chat. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I need a fire topic though, Nazarene, for Tuesday when I come back. This is broad, but what are your thoughts on Princella's, I don't know who that is, shenanigans. I don't know who that is. Y'all got a topic y'all want me to cover? What up, Truemonger? Y'all got a topic y'all want me to get at? Y'all got something y'all want me to cover? Y'all got a question y'all want to ask? Again, if you have topic ideas, it's important. Peace, brother. It's important that you present your topics to me right now so I can work on them right now. Man, damn. Thank you, Q. I have every single book you've put out, but your knowledge and wisdom never stops. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. I appreciate you too, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, man. Everybody, please thank this brother, man. Thank this brother for sharing. Man, everybody appreciate this brother. Show him some love. I appreciate you for coming on here. Anybody got any questions for me? If you got some questions, now's the time to ask, man. Because I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like, I'm really coming to understand, like, something major about me as a person, man. I feel like my purpose is to help y'all. You know, and I feel like how I've cultivated that is I just made a shit ton of mistakes in my life, in my relationships. I feel like my relationships don't work out for me, but I also feel like God has granted me a particular type of gift to where I learn from my mistakes, and I take that learning and I create, you know, books and ideas and concepts and philosophies around my shortcomings. And apparently that is helping people. What's your advice on a young man becoming a streamer? Just get out there and do it. Just get out there and do it. The longer you wait, the more technology changes. Just get out there and do it. Be confident in yourself. Cultivate an original point of view, POV. Understand what type of show you want to do. Understand the formatics. If you want to do a show by yourself, then you're going to have to talk all the time. If you want to do a show with a panel, then you're going to have to be great at listening and setting other people up. It just depends on what you want to do. You know all of the platforms that are out there. You know, you got options, you got opportunity. Yeah, I don't see a lot of relationship specialists talk about catharsis. That's a key to a stronger relationship. Yeah, man. Unless your relationship has put you in a situation to where, you know, your life is in danger, I think everything can be worked out. Now, everything doesn't get worked out. You know, according to some researchers, 69% of all relationship conflict goes unresolved. So, Angela Williams, here's a topic: Are we living in the last days? Yeah, the last days of yesteryear. Sure. 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 Y'all got questions? I don't see a lot of Gavin Russell, what up? Y'all want me to leave or y'all want to talk? Because I need y'all to be active on them keyboards. Y'all need to talk to me if y'all want to talk. do you care to speak on Coach Prime and how he addresses the media in his press conference? Again, Coach Prime did a thing. He did a thing, and everybody is very, especially in the black community, we're all very pleased and happy with the brother, because what he's doing is he's a Leo, master organizer. He went up there, he took the winning blueprint that he had at Jackson State, and he took it to a higher conference. He took it to the Pac-12, to the Buffs, and he imprinted his philosophy on that team. If you notice, when you see a lot of clips of him, he might be using the Bible, he might be using life experience, he might be using his professional experience, but again, he's instilling a philosophy. And that's part of manhood. I always say to men always think being a protector and a provider has to do with physically fighting. Sometimes you have to protect her feelings. Sometimes you have to be protective of her feelings in a way that she is allowed to share her feelings without being crushed, without being made to feel small when she's sharing her feelings. That's a form of protection. Many times, men have been, conditioned to behave and act like, I don't want to hear what she got to say. As long as the bill's paid, as long as you got money in your purse, whoop, whap, whoop, don't come to me with no little bullshit. We've been cultured to not listen to women. So, again, another piece of manhood is protection and providing, right? So sometimes protecting your woman is also listening to her and creating a safe space for her to vent to you about you. Then the other piece is provision. I always say provision goes beyond just money. Like Prime is doing in Colorado, he is providing for these kids by giving them a philosophy. I often ask brothers, what is your philosophy for your relationship? What is your philosophy for your interaction with your significant other? For many brothers, the philosophy is, I've been doing it this way for this long. You come in, you get down with the program. You see what I'm saying? That for many brothers, that's what it is. There's not really an integration. There can only be an integration where an integration of desires, an integration of expectation, an integration of how we're going to interact with each other. There can only really be an integration where there is mutual respect. Otherwise, it's going to be an accelerated power dynamic, meaning I don't have to respect you because everything is taken care of. If I got everything taken care of, what do I got to respect you for? You got to respect me. Many men have that mindset. And relationships, healthy ones, just don't work that way. In a healthy relationship, there has to be a mutual respect, a mutual care, a mutual empathy, a mutuality when it comes to making space for one another. Does that make sense? Angela said you mentioned being a Leo. What does that have to do? Angela, somebody asked me to do a reading on their sign. You might have come in a little late. King, here's a topic for you. How do you deal with someone that uses religion to their advantage but gets upset when you do the same? Email it. Email me that. My email is vor106@gmail.com. vor106@gmail.com. Oh, Attila, what up? Seems like some people value force more than power. 100%. A lot of men think, being a financial provider is all that it is required. And that's not true. You got to be more than a financial provider. You have to be a philosophical provider. You have to be a presence provider. You have to be a good space provider. You have to be a safe space provider. You have to be an understanding provider. You have to be an empathy provider. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a mindfulness provider. There's more than one way to provide. You understand? So everybody is excited about Prime, doing what he did. This is my uncle. How you doing, Uncle? Everybody's, like I said, excited about, Coach Prime doing his thing. But Coach Prime does what real men do, not only in intimate relationship, but in team building relationships. I mean, you got to think of it in context of this. Prime is building a team, but what is a relationship if not a team? There's my uncle, y'all. Y'all say what's up to my Uncle Ben.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen?
Come over here, Unc. I'm live. Come over here and talk to my folk. This is my uncle, y'all. This is my mother's brother.
And he's been a talented kid ever since he was 2.
That's my uncle, man. That's his name, Uncle Ben. Y'all know what's up. Y'all say what's up to Uncle Ben, man. Y'all chat with him.
I don't say what's up. I'm just gonna say what's happening.
What's happening?
That was during my day. What's happening?
What's happening? Mm-hmm. How old are you now, Ben?
Oh, 25.
25. My uncle is 25, y'all.
No, I am 77.
You
76.
You 76, huh?
Yeah, 76.
That's my uncle, man. Do you know this man took care of me? This man took literal care of me. When my father didn't show up in my life, this man right here took care of me. He had deals all over the city. He's the one who got me into basketball. We had deals all over the city. We'd go to Walt Butler, and he done already worked out a deal with the local shoe dude. Says, my nephews are playing summer ball. And we're going there and we think we're going to pick out some Nikes. He'd be like, no. Your uncle already got these other shoes set aside. They already got these other shoes set aside for you. And what was cold was you couldn't wear those shoes anytime. We could only wear them during the game. And my uncle, he kept us in basketball programs. He moved, our entire family followed his lead and his uncle's lead. Coming out here from Chattanooga, they followed his lead. And when he came out here, he took care of his brothers. He took his 10-year-old brother with him because their mother had passed. My grandmother, whom I never met, their mother had passed. He took them, raised them, bought homes in Southern California, brought his family out here. And we all followed his lead. My man went to UCLA, got his degree in engineering, started his own engineering.
Well, you're saying too much about me, but Zoe was very
No, I'm
easy.
just saying this.
Zoe was very easy.
This was my inspiration. I was not easy.
That's why he's so successful now.
You know I wasn't.
He was very easy.
Tell the truth, Unc. Don't. They already know. They know about me throwing rocks at your grandmama, big mama. They know. They know all the stories about me, Unc.
And grandma was just catching those stones.
She was catching them. Grandma was catching the stones, huh? But you understand what I'm saying? This man, he took care of me, man, and he took care of me in a way, man, I can never repay.
But you're doing the same thing for people now. I mean, one thing about us is that we have to take care of legacy and pass on information. And you're doing a good job, Bernard.
I'm trying.
I passed on when I got here.
What's my name?
Zoe. Yeah. Big Zoe. Big Z. Okay. You're not just Zoe any longer. You're Big Z now.
Nah, man, but I was wild as hell when I was a little kid.
No, he just had a lot of enthusiasm. a lot of energy that needs to be channeled to something positive. And he figured out the route himself.
Well, you helped me.
Oh yeah, but you had to do the work.
I did have to do the work.
You did the work. And that was all the kids I worked with in the neighborhood, including my sons.
Yeah.
If they decide that they want to do the work, I send them down the road.
I mean, can I tell you, man? You know what's crazy? You got an uncle that said, you know what? Fuck that. You're not going to this school no more. I got an apartment over here in this city. You gonna use that address,
Right.
and I'm a do all the paperwork and send you to another school. That's what he would do. He would do that kind of stuff for me, because he saw like my nephew got some shit that maybe my other nephews don't have. It's something that he's working with that they're not actually locked into yet, and he poured into that.
Well, he had a lot of, Big Z had a lot of intellectual ability as a young person that kids grow into. He had his just from day one. 6 years old, 7 years old. That's why people thought you was so difficult. They couldn't deal with you because you was ahead of them.
A little bit. I wasn't ahead of you though.
Well, of course, I'm 10 times older.
10 times. This is why my uncle can just show up at the cigar lounge without calling me. He said, I tried to call you. No, you didn't. You didn't try to call. Man, but to me, this is a trend in my life. Man, y'all in here giving money? What in the Truemonger, thank you. And Q, thank you. Shout out to Uncle Ben, Real Men Don't Play. That's right. Truemonger, thank you. We are up to $120 on this live. Wow, thank you.
Well, Zoe, you're a treasure to America.
What? No, that's you. You the one did the damn service.
No, you're a treasure. Your grandpapa was in the military, and you were a treasure because you didn't get a home situation where now you're helping people today, and you're doing a great job. They don't call you the voice of wisdom for nothing.
The voice of wisdom? Or the voice of reason?
The voice of reason. I just added another extra.
Hey, man. Zoe, I'm surprised you don't just come on and chop it up more often, especially on a Sunday. Somebody said the VOW. You got it wrong, huh? I just decided to, jump in here and chop it up with y'all today, man. Yeah. And it's really a pleasure that my uncle would show up. I had no idea that he would come.
But see, Memorial Day is Veterans Day. And so anytime they celebrate any opportunity involved with veterans, I get the information and I pass it on to our group because I'm the chairman of a national organization. It's about passing information. And you do it well over the lines. You talk to 6 million people every day.
Is that what I do? Let me tell you what's so cold about him, man, that I love so much about him. He sits on the board of a very prestigious university here in Southern California. And it was really nothing. Hey, King, thank you for that, man. Thank you, brother. It was really nothing for me to call him and say, hey, man, the mother of your great nephew and great niece, just got her bachelor's degree and she wants to get her master's degree. Well, because he sits on the board, of this very prestigious university here in Southern California, he was able to take her application and push it through. And then she wound up graduating from that university that he sits on the board. She got her master's degree. And what's really powerful about him, he's still pushing her to get the PhD. He's like, become a PhD. We can get you in. And that's what family is about. One thing I've known about him, he done owned nightclubs, he just owned studios, he's owned all kind of stuff. But everybody in our family could always go to him for a job. At some point in time, damn near everybody in our family worked for you, except for me.
Well, you just want to be in charge.
Can't give you a chance to get to that level.
So I just wanted to be in charge, so that's why I didn't work for you.
but now you at that level. You at
a position in your life to be in charge of anything that you want to get involved in.
Yeah.
Because you have those skills.
Man.
And your mother really was a genius.
She was. There was just too much turbulence in her life.
Yeah.
For her to take advantage.
So she passed it on to you.
Yeah. We come from great stock.
Well, I'm very happy to be my family.
Your mom is great stock.
Mm-hmm. And my dad,
he was a executive type job.
Mm.
And actually, we lived a wealthy life the first 5-6 years of my life because he was working for that company. Then all of a sudden, that company closed. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't find no job there.
Mm.
No job.
What I remember from Granddad was Granddad worked on cars.
That was because he
couldn't.
What he used to do, he used to work for some real line work. And he handled all the production equipment and manufactured all these different parts.
When the system would go down, they said, hey, Simon, the system is down. They couldn't do anything with that. The reason they got hired is because the owner of the company was a veteran himself. Mm-hmm. A white boy was a veteran. Mm-hmm. But Dad, since black people weren't able to gain access to the better jobs and stuff, when Dad got out of the military, he went down to Somerville, Ohio, and the job looked at him and said, oh, you a military man, yeah. Then he realized what he was doing in the military, said, hey, you can help us. Mm. So he hired him and paid him a big salary. Mm. About 5 years, they put the Environmental Protection Agency came in, and that was too much CO2 emissions coming, and they closed them down.
They asking you questions. They said, is Uncle Ben from Chattanooga, Tennessee?
Well, you know.
That's Chattanooga right there. It's Chattanooga?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. It was from Chattanooga, Tennessee, yes. This feels great to just be kicking it in here with Zoe and Uncle Ben.
Who's that fabulous fellow?
Man, it's just folks in here from all over the country, man, and they chiming in, they talking, they listening to you.
Well, you know, one thing about us as people of color, especially black men, we're the strongest people on this planet.
You better tell us, then.
The only thing we have to do is mobilize and bring our forces together.
How do we do that?
I've been trying for years. I tried with the pastors, Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, but everyone has their own mission statement. Mm-hmm. I can say what I want to say, but if they did what they wanted to do and they've been successful and they're happy, I'm happy for them too. But it's not how I would do it. And that's why I've hired over 1,000 people and taught them solar energy and government contracts. Because those are sustainability employment areas where they can get paid anywhere in the country, in the world, and get jobs in those areas. And then I always program, you work for somebody for a while, figure out what's going on, and start your own business. Like your cousin,
Craig?
No, Chris. Chris worked for me for about.
My little cousin, Chris, went to work for his dad, learned everything about the business, and then just left, took the contacts, and went and set up his own business, the exact same business his daddy was. I said, come on, he can't do you like that.
Well, no, the thing about it is that it's a father's responsibility to teach a kid how to take care of themselves and their responsibility.
and generate revenue for themselves. And so once that we got to that point, there's 10,000 opportunities available in this country for what I do in business. And we have maybe less than 1% of them. So anytime, that's why a lot of the people that I train, they started their own business. And we're almost still on the same team.
Well, I love you, and I'm happy you're on my team. I don't think I would have made it to this point in my life without you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, Ronaldo. You wanted you accepted turbulence.
Don't tell us too much.
But yeah.
He said you accepted turbulence.
And you decided what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then once after you focus, I remember when you came and you started talking to me about Malcolm X. I said, "What do you know about Malcolm X?" He said, "Oh, I read all this stuff." You're young, but that was an anomaly for Malcolm X. They didn't know anything about what this guy's mission statement was. And it was his mission statement was very clear. Whatever you decide to do, you do your absolute best, and you take charge and you take care of your family.
That's it.
Keep yourself clean, so you can do your business and you can take care of your family, and then your community.
You see the name?
Oh, that's that's your baby. Yeah. He's the producer. Yeah, she's the producer, the director.
Let me tell you, man.
She's gonna be a super producer and a director in this business.
Yes.
In the entertainment business here in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Not only she can think, she also can sketch out what something's supposed to look like.
Right. You remember that picture she gave you of your mother and your father?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was fun. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get a copy. You're gonna have one in here, and you're gonna be telling your folks, "This is my grandfather and my grandmother."
Listen, y'all see me on the show, right? I be acting a fool, cracking jokes, we got all of that from him and his brothers when we were young. He instilled all the jokes.
Well, see, the one thing about life, you have to smile. If you run around with a smile on your face, look, I go the other way. I mean, you a frown on your face. I'm sorry.
I remember when I was little.
You smile.
When I was much younger. I think his brother, I guess he had a heart attack or something. And we would all be on the basketball court. We would all hoop together on the basketball court every junior high school, and we hooping. And they jonesing on each other. They talking crazy about each other. And then he tells his younger brother, "I know why you had the heart attack." He said he had went down on an old lady and she farted and it blew his heart up.
That was just a joke.
Come on, man. We got all that from him.
I remember one time we was down on Colorado Boulevard watching the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And out of the studio.
Yes.
And you grab Chris by his 2 feet.
He was a baby.
And then you said,
I dangled him out the window. This was his son.
Yeah, and you was faking it, but you was just having fun faking. But I was saying, well, no, he might slip. He said, then you laugh, and then you say, okay, you comply.
Ben does not tell the story right. I had his baby dangling outside the window of a 3rd-story building. Now, he trying to tell it in a very nice way. Ben saw that and rushed over there and grabbed me by the neck. What the hell is you doing? He grabbed the baby. This is what happened. Ben said, "Oh, you just was like, okay, I got to be." Tell the truth, huh? He grabbed me by the neck.
Well, that was that PTSD, because
Well, man, we've been through a lot together, man.
Yeah, right.
Life is one time around. You just have to make it your best. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best.
I'm ready to go, huh?
Go.
From this life.
Oh, that's good. Oh, your great grandmother doesn't want to see you yet.
No, it's time.
So,
I've been dating like this for quite some time.
a little fatalistic ideas.
I'm not really fatalistic.
Yes, they are, because that means
Shouldn't I have the agency to choose when I want to go?
No,
I don't want to be old
no.
and miserable and die. And
No, you should be old and miserable as long as you support the new producing director in the family and your son.
that position.
No, but she needs to glean the information from your brain.
She
Then
got
to
you.
No, she got you. I mean, you got the brain now.
You the one call me and be like, "Can you get her on the phone?
Yeah.
I got to talk to your daughter. Get your daughter on the phone." You the one called me.
Yeah, but I just want to let her know that she did a great job on those pictures of her grandmother. She went back in the history books and pulled that stuff out.
Hey, my daughter made some pictures of his mother and father when they were young. I don't mean to laugh, but his response was so fucking comedy. First off, you know the phones now allow you to, put, different effects on pictures or, kind of adjust them and alter them and do all of that or whatever, right? She did that for him. I showed him the picture. He old, so his response made me laugh. It was almost like he was crying. He was like, Dad? Dad? I said, well, this is a picture, Uncle. He's not finna talk to you. He said, Dad? I said, okay, there go the picture. So we sent him the pictures, and he put them up in his office. He thought my daughter painted the pictures. I was like, no, she did that. Reaction, I just said, what the? Dad? I don't know, huh? You might have to use this one over here. Do you have an iPhone?
No, Android.
Oh, we ain't got no Android. This is an iPhone charger.
It's still 12 volts.
It's still 12 volts. Here, use your 12 volts, engineer. Still 12 volts. Dad, use it, huh? Dad? She said, I can draw them. She can draw them. She can actually draw them.
I know that. I mean, the thing about it is, the only way you can make some adjustments like that is that you have to be totally gifted.
Dad? Dad?
And I know that art school she went to for a while. Because I knew the lady was right.
Well, Unc he sits on the board of several universities. He was trying to get her into this art university, this fancy art university down here. Dad? Dad? I said it ain't a live action picture, Unc. He not gonna jump off the screen and talk to you. Dad? You gotta admit it was funny.
I was just happy to see it.
I know. Dad? Dad?
But you're gonna be totally satisfied when you do your anthology.
When I do my what? Anthology. Yeah. How? Or what's happening?
Well, you're gonna put all the people in the family.
Yeah.
And go all the way back. All the way back to when you was a child.
You gonna help them. All I'm saying is, if I go early,
Where you going?
to see your mama.
Well, you can't go. See, she's not ready to see you.
How you know?
Because if Big Daddy has to.
Big Daddy?
That's to give you the approval.
Big Daddy got a cosign.
He co-signed, otherwise you can't come in.
Well, I'm negotiating with Big Daddy right now.
Well, you know those golden gates won't open.
Why?
Unless you negotiate with Big Daddy.
That's who I'm negotiating with. Big Daddy said, Ben said, you got to get permission from Big Daddy. Anyway, man, it's been a blessing, man, to see my uncle come
That
through
made
here.
me realize when I was in Africa, why we're so spiritual here in America.
When you went to Africa.
Right.
How?
That's why black people, when a white boy can walk into a church and shoot everybody in there, and the first thing the pastor said to all the other people who show up, we need to pray for this lost soul who came in here and killed all these people. I would have pulled his neck off. I would have taken, because I was trained as a veteran, I would have taken his head off.
Yeah.
Now, the pastor, instead of pastor praying for the people who lost, the people who were killed, offspring, he's talking about praying for this ignorant guy. But that's how we think. Mm-hmm. We always forgive him. That's why the white boy kicks us in the ass, and we don't do anything about it. Mm-hmm. But not you and I. Not me.
You know.
Your grandfather used to have a shotgun. He said, "These little white rabbits come around here, taking them out." When I was in Tennessee, he pulled out his gun and started shooting. But he was trained, military man. I thought about it after a few years later.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is like Chris's picture right there.
That's not Chris. That's our good friend Anwar. He passed. Yeah, last year. Yeah, he had been a member of this lounge, and he passed last year, so we keep his picture up there. Yeah.
You got Brother Malcolm.
We got Brother Malcolm in here. And you see we have a library in here as well.
Oh, yeah.
And your nephew, his books are up here.
So you have 5 books now? 5 books?
I'm working on book number 5 right now. Now what's interesting is he had a brother who has since passed. Last year. When I got here as an 8-year-old, you know, my mother did her best to get us here.
Oh, yes, she did. I mean, she did her absolute best.
She got us here.
She got you here, and the thing about it is that all your siblings prospered, and the 1 or 2 that it kind of
struggled a little
bit, and then James took off and went to Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he couldn't figure out what it was that, and I found out later that a lot of your siblings was ashamed of their mother,
disappointed.
Yeah, just disappointed.
Right.
But James just wanted to get away from it because he thought that maybe there was a better opportunity. It takes.
But I never felt that way.
Yeah, but it takes a person's guts to make a change and all that. And then when James took off, he found a little clearance somewhere, and it's like he started seeing things that were a little easier, so he just stayed there.
Right.
Okay. But the thing about it is that I know as a big brother, Roselle was my big sister. Mm-hmm. Even when she was in grade school at Archie Knob in Chattanooga, Tennessee. She's one of the smallest people in the school.
Archie Knob or Archibald?
No, Archie Knob. Archie.
Is it Archie Knob or Archibald?
It depends on how you pronounce it.
All I know is when I was on the road driving in Tennessee in the early 2000s, I have been hearing y'all say Archie Knob.
Oh, Archie Knob Junior High School.
All this time.
But that's a hill in Chattanooga called Archie Knob Hill.
But the street says Archibald.
No, I should say Archie Knob. Because Archie Knob
What
Hill,
does that even mean, Archie Knob?
Archie Knob Hill, that was a hill where the Confederate Army was shooting from. Like Lookout Mountain, Archie Knob Hill, etc., Signal Mountain.
Right.
All those points. But Chattanooga was a hub for the civil for the Confederate Army.
Yes, it was.
It was a hub.
Y'all enjoying this? Are y'all enjoying this conversation with me and my Uncle Ben? Are y'all enjoying it? Y'all tell me what's up. So many.
But I came down here to tell you, nephew,
Make sure you get on that on your telecast, your broadcast, and tell all those brothers who are not sure about themselves, don't vote for Donald Trump again.
Who should they vote for?
Joe Biden.
Why?
Joe Biden because he figured out that if he takes that $22 trillion that the government spends as far as procurement and spread it out more among all of us, it enhance all our lives. And he's doing it by giving away money. You said he just Kamala Harris just 2 days ago decided not a lot of money. She's gonna give put together $230 million and give it just to black business. Give it to black business. All you gotta do is just send a request.
But send me the link so I can get some money.
Okay. And plus, and the reason that all of that they're doing all that is because reparation and compensation, the stuff that Angela Davis and people were talking about when I was undergraduate school. It hasn't happened yet, but it needs to happen. And it's gonna happen. But we gotta take the Clarence Thomases off the hill, get them off the street. And then you gotta take this up Kanye West and send him back to Mississippi with the rapper. You know what I'm talking about, the rapper. Who's up there?
Hey, y'all have no idea. He is on his best behavior right now. Yo, he over here wilding. Y'all have no idea, man. This is my Uncle Ben, man. I wanted to share him with y'all for a little while. I appreciate chopping it up with y'all.
I just want to give it. I just want to these young people who want to come study your history. Know your history. Study your history. Because if you don't study your history, then there's no way in the world you can plot the right course and take the right freeway to success in life.
You gotta know where you're from, right, who you are, what you're about, all of that.
Right.
Words from my uncle, man.
Because when I interviewed Alex Haley about Malcolm X, Alex Haley didn't know a thing about Malcolm X. The only reason he was interested in Malcolm X, he's trying to get a job as a journalist. Because the white boy was on after he got out of the military. So this guy came up to me and said, say, Mr. Haley, if you could get an interview with Malcolm X, you get a job as a journalist. So Mr. Haley said, well, what? He said he thought about it and he said, the only thing I heard about Mr. X was he was the guy who would hate white people and all this kind of stuff. He said, but I was ex-military, man. He said, you're not a military guy. He told me, he said, you're not a military. If you got a mission statement and we want to get something done, we plot the course and go do it. So he said, what I decided to do was find out what this guy was preaching and just follow it. And he said, I started following. And then soon after that, they became friends. And so Malcolm walked up to Mr. Haley one day and tapped him on the shoulder and said, young man, are you following me? And Mr. Haley says, you know, we talking to a bunch of 1,000 people at UCLA and he says, Malcolm, he told Malcolm, he says, yes, I am. He said, well, why are you following me, young man? He said, I'm trying to get a job. He said, I'm trying to get a job. So Malcolm looked at him and started, gave him a smile. And he said, a job? Yes, I'm going to go. And Malcolm kind of laughed at him and walked away. After 3 more meetings, Mr. Haley was in all his meetings. He said, when I went to his first meeting, I thought the black guys were talking about killing white folks and this and that. He said it was the furthest thing we went through. All thing Malcolm was talking about how to get yourself ready, take care of yourself, get an education, get away from drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. He was just teaching you how to build your character so that you could take care of your family and the community. And so he said that surprised him. But then after
after Malcolm tapped him on the back and asked him who his father was, about 3 meetings after that, Malcolm tapped him on the back. Said, now, Mr. Henry, no, Alex, it's not Alex, you ready to get the job? He said, oh, yeah. He said, well, you can interview him. Because he was interviewing for Playboy. Playboy during that time, they had a very popular magazine. And everybody thought it was about just naked women. It's a centerfold.
But it was the articles in
The
there.
articles about the Kennedys, the Rockefellers.
Right.
And Malcolm X was one of those figures that they didn't have a lot of information on, so he wanted somebody to interview him.
Right.
So Mr. Henry got the job done.
Wow.
And once after he got the job done, he
Then Malcolm gave him the autobiography.
right. No, he asked Malcolm. He said, because they became friends, and Mr. Henry walked up to Malcolm and said, Malcolm, I'm just about finished with this interview, and can I do your autobiography? And Malcolm told him, he said, oh, Alex, I'd love for you to do it, but my life is going to be taken very soon by an organization much larger than the nation. And it's going to be, they're going to try to make a period that was a nation, a conflict with Elijah Muhammad, but it wasn't. Malcolm's life was taken by the CIA and FBI because Malcolm told Mr. Haley, the reason that my life is going to be taken to when I got back from Mecca the first time and stopped in the Gold Coast.
What up, Frenchie? We have a full interview going on in here right now. Jesus, Frenchie. Gosh. Go ahead, Aunt.
Okay, after Malcolm came back from Mecca the second time, he met up with Nkrumah. Nkrumah said to Malcolm, he said, look, I've been trying to touch you, and I found out you was in Mecca, so would you stop into the Gold Coast? I'd like to meet you and talk about helping me to organize the OE. I don't want money. I need somebody from the west of my team. And so he said, I want now. You know. And Malcolm said he thought about it for a minute, because Malcolm was a very smart guy. He thought about it for a minute. He said, well, if you get rid of the colonizers off the continent, Portuguese, Spanish, and all that. French, right.
Dutch.
You get those people off the continent. I help you do that. What I want you to do is take these countries and provide the natural resources from the countries that we are helping, and have them to make those natural resources available to African Americans in America as a payback for selling their foreparents in the trade. And that was the deal. So when the FBI and the CIA, because I used to work at Jeffrey Corporation Lab, I know about those think tanks. They were showing those think tanks, and they were thinking that. They said, if African Americans have that kind of money, access, they're going to own 50% of the Fortune 500 firms in America.
Yeah.
And see, this was in the late 50s, in the early 60s.
And the irony of it all is this is what's happening with BRICS right now.
Exactly.
So Malcolm would have been 50 years ahead of his time
Before BRICS.
because BRICS is right now. Malcolm was doing this 50-something years ago.
But the greatest thing that we can do during our generation, especially baby boomers like this, me, go to Africa and start creating a relationship like I went to Kenya. When I went to Kenya, myself and 2 other guys, we co-produced a small and medium-sized business conference there. We met with Kenyatta. We did it for Kenyatta. But when we met with Kenyatta, Kenyatta had just finished. He had been president for about 3 years because he took over after his dad, after he went to Harvard and came back, and he brought the Western ideas back to Nairobi. He wanted to set up some more business situations, etc. So that's why they invited us over to do the conference. And so while I was there, my job was to give them a presentation on solar farms because Kenya is God-centered. 50% of Kenya is above the equator, 50% is below the equator, which means you get energy 12 hours a day. You know, and they had brown. I told the president, I said, you know what? I said, Mr. Kenyatta, With all due respect, you guys embarrassing. I said, Kenya produces some of the finest scientists and engineers in the world. Because I work with them at Jefferson Labs. So I come to your country, and you give me a State of the Union message, because he invited us to. I said, you give me a State of the Union message, and you got brown ass. You know, back to speculation, but it became very important to me, because when I got to giving my presentation, they had a Clarence Thomas there too. They got Clarence Thomas.
They got a Clarence Thomas over there.
So he raised his hand to ask me a question about electrification. So I said, well, yes, sir. And he says, Mr. Walker, do you realize that Kenya is in East Africa? I said, yeah. In other words, he was saying Kenya had nothing to do with trade. So I said, yeah, I understand. But I got him later. But then a sister raised her hand. She was so pretty, so I couldn't even look at it.
You couldn't look at it.
So
took your glasses off.
I didn't wear no glasses. I took my finger and I started rubbing my eye. Like I said, look at it. And she said, Mr. Walker. Well, first of all, she bowed in front of me and said, can I ask you a question? A black woman never bowed in front of me. And in my nation, she put her hands together and bowed to people. Yes, ma'am.
While you trying to get the vision of her out your eye.
and I said, yes, ma'am. She said, do you know that African Americans in America, they're God's chosen people. They are the smartest people on the planet. She said, not the Africans who go to Europe and places like that, but those who go to America, they're a combination of two things that makes them unique. Number one, spiritualness that they got from Mother Africa, from the continent here. But they are the only group of people on this planet that has the spiritualness along with the combination of the nucleus of intelligence in the West. They are the only people that got those two areas in their DNA. And so, you know, I told her, I said, thank you very much. And I told her, I said, thank you very much, young lady. When I could see a little bit. I could see a little. I said, thank you very much. And I said, my father always told me that if someone provides you with a compliment, you take your offhand and pat yourself on the back. To let you know you just grab it. Pat yourself on the back. And then you make sure you say thank you.
Make sure you say thank you.
And that's what I said to them young lady.
Uncle, do you have any relationship advice for young black men and women today?
What I think, my advice to young black, because we all are different, but my advice to black people, men and women, don't get bamboozled by having a relationship with white people where you getting over becoming successful in your field. They're doing that for a reason. Like back in when the federal government came out and said, now all you major corporations, in order for you to continue doing business with the federal government, you got to hire people of color and put them in executive positions. So what the white boys did, they hired black women and put them in those positions. And I'm very happy for black women that they get in those positions. But don't get lost. A lot of them get in those positions and then they get lost. And then white boys start using them. And then they start developing
Antagonistic.
Yeah.
Antagonistic.
Yeah. Attitudes toward their mate. You know, then a guy wrote a book, William Wells Brown, and the name of that book was Respect. I can't think of it. I gotta get that for you though. I need you to read that book. But there was a passage in there where he said that black women has to understand, and the same thing that black men have to understand. We have to respect one another because somebody is giving you a job, and like he pointed out something. Giving a black woman a job, she's making $250,000 a year. And I'm a husband, I make $10,000 a year.
she started losing respect for me because of the power dynamics of it. Unless she's a smart lady and understand why she's in that picture. Because the white boy doesn't want you sitting next to her, Zoe. Next to him, Zoe, in that executive management position.
Why? How come they don't want me sitting next to? That's my one.
He doesn't want you sitting next to him in an executive management position.
He'd rather have her.
A woman.
Oh, yeah.
But most of the black women nowadays, like those 3 women that are handling Donald Trump right now, most of the black women, they done got past that. But it wasn't easy. My whole generation, since I'm a baby boom, they fought that. They fought that trying to understand what was going on. Even my wife, she started working at Pasadena City College, and she couldn't understand why she was going up the ladder so fast, becoming the chief financial officer. But I made sure she got her credentials. But the guy who brought her in was the new president of college. Hell, he was stealing from the college. But the reason that he gave her the job was because she was one of those people that did what the boss told her to do. He was like, for example, they be building a new building at the college, and all of a sudden, this guy wanted to get some money. He wanted to get $40,000 to send an hour to his grandfather so that he would save his house. So he asked, so that's he said, how much money is left in the budget, because we got this engineering change order we got to put in place this weekend. And she says, oh, we got whatever, enough money, whatever he was asking for. She said, we got that. He said, well, I need $40,000 to finish that project. Write me a check, and I'd like to pick it up tomorrow. She done asked for what it's used for, but that's why he put her there in that position. And it's no. I mean, the thing about it is that if I was a black woman, I would take it. But the thing about it, I wouldn't get lost in it. You know, and the same thing as black men. Black men run around and they're ending up like even when you go back to Sammy Davis Jr. and the Rat Pack. Sammy Davis Jr. jumped in there with those guys. He was running around having a good time, but he wasn't doing anything for no one else. And I can't say absolutely, but based upon what I could read,
right,
he wasn't really opening no doors for no black folks, because he was in with the boys. But I'm gonna get off of that because I can talk on that all day long. Because we are the greatest people on this planet.
You better believe it, huh?
Just like that African lady said. And I'm gonna say one thing to you young folks. If you don't visit Africa while you're at the apex of what you're doing, and see how you are really treated, and see how valuable you are. Because the first thing I did when I got to Kenya, I told my friends, I said, I got that Kenya on my bucket list, but I'm not going to go over there and go to no safaris. I'm not interested in that. I'm going to do something and go over and look for my money. See what my foreparents did. Because that's our lineage.
Yeah.
I said, Mr. Haley told me that. But that's how he is the father of genealogy. But he'll never get credit for it because the white boy stole the concept. He's when he was talking to me about Malcolm X, I said, well, Mr. Haley, what are you doing now? He said, well, I was talking to my grandmother in Tennessee at Lane College. I was a teacher at Lane College. He said, I was talking to my grandmother, and a lady walked up and started talking to my grandmother in a language that I didn't even understand. Now, he was a professor. He said, a language that I didn't understand. He said, but fortunately for me, about 3 weeks later, I had a trip to Ghana. So he said, while I was in Ghana, I was just walking down the street and I heard these two ladies talking. And the dialect in them was just similar to my grandmother. And so he said, I walked over there and said, ma'am. And then when he said, ma'am, oh, they gave him attention because they knew he was from America. Africans give you all the respect when they find it, when you open your mouth and you say something. Because we look like everybody else. But then after they did that,
Mr. Haley asked her, he says, now you ladies were speaking a language, and I didn't understand it, but I heard my grandmother speak that language. And I'm trying to find out where I came from. The lady told us this. This is what I just said. And your folks are over there. Because you know, a lot of us came from Western Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Through the halls of no return.
Yeah.
That's Ghana.
Yeah.
And a lot of our folks came through there. And they told Mr. Haley right up there.
And a lot of our folks are from here. Native American.
Exactly. Well, your family tree is Scottish.
Scottish. What
Scottish.
in the world?
From the original colonies, when they really colonized the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
We got people from the Scottish. We got Cherokee Indian.
Cherokee.
And we got Western Africa.
Western Africa.
That's our combination.
Lord have mercy. I hope y'all enjoyed Uncle Ben today. Hey man, I enjoyed Uncle Ben today. I'm glad he was able to stop through and drop some jewel for y'all. Your great niece says, 23andMe doesn't say we have Scottish. They say we have French.
Well, tell them it's wrong. Tell them look at her grandmother. She just painted a picture of her.
You talking about Nancy?
And then tell her she has another grandmother. That's my dad's mother.
Yes.
She is dark as your shirt right
Oh,
now.
I know. Yeah.
But she got long black hair.
Mm-hmm.
And she was 80-some years old. That was to her waist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that long, straight black hair.
Yeah.
That was the Cherokee.
Yes. Hey, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I came in here to talk with y'all and chop it up. Ask him what he knows about James McWhorter, Big Mama's husband.
Oh, James. Now, James had, he was a very, 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 very light-skinned man.
Was he light-skinned or was he white?
He was the closest thing in the family to white.
But he wasn't white.
What? He was about 10%, 15% white.
Oh, so he was a brother.
Like you and all, he about your collection.
He wasn't my cousin. Come on.
Yeah, he just has.
I ain't the closest thing to white.
On the West Coast, you are.
On the West Coast?
It was Pat and Uncle Darby.
Right. Right.
And you right in with that group.
I'm not in with that group. And you know I'm not in with that group. You right there with them.
And Aunt Pat act just like a Southern belle.
Yes, she did.
I'm better than y'all.
Yes. Yes.
This and that. Oh.
And she was gorgeous. She was beautiful.
Well, she was Miss NAACP.
Yes, yes.
And you have another cousin that was Fat Man's daughter. She was, she went to Alabama A&M.
Mm-hmm.
She was a queen there.
Yeah.
And she's on Broadway in Boston now.
Mm. Hey, my uncle is spilling all the tea.
Oh, you know what?
Giving up all the game.
I'm running late for the meeting I have to go to.
Well, Unc, I love you for coming by.
Well, and tell my sweet granddaughter.
Your granddaughter or your great niece?
She can be my granddaughter if I want.
Well, what is she? She's my daughter. That would make her your great niece.
Well, she's my granddaughter. And she has a niece and the niece part. She's my grandniece.
Your grandniece. There you go. All right. Hey, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Well, it's always nice talking to beautiful, intelligent young folks. And
Yeah.
you guys fit the bill.
Yeah.
And you got a professor here sitting on the couch, which is your dad. And he has knowledge that he hasn't even shared with me yet. that he's saving for you guys.
I be giving. Come on, don't do it. See how you just like throwing some extra on it. He said, "I'm damn near white." Y'all heard him say that, right?
Well, no, when you was a little boy, you had blue eyes, just like your grandmother.
My eyes were never blue.
They was gray blue like
Your mama's eyes was never blue. They was always green. That's what Big Mama told me.
Well, what's the difference between blue and green?
Blue and green. They different. They two different colors.
Anyway, I'm not gonna argue. Well,
Why don't you guys have some private time together?
And so thanks for allowing me to get involved with the conversation of people that I really love in my life.
We appreciate you, huh? I love you, man.
Big dog.
His eyes do change color, Uncle. No, they don't. They the same color every day.
Mine used to be light brown.
Your eyes ain't never been light brown, huh?
I can show you.
Stop making up stuff.
No, but I can show you pictures when I was young. My eyes
were light brown, and as I got older, they started getting dark.
So your pupils started to come on, huh? Come on.
Yeah, the pupils of the
The whiteness never changed,
But the iris, your iris changed.
Right. My iris was light brown.
And then your iris got dark brown.
started getting darker.
Where'd you get the other melanin to make your
When I
eyes?
was in Vietnam, instead of the bullets, no.
He said the war darkened his eyes.
Yeah. And then all the pressure dealing with these maniacs. But I tell her like her great grandfather said,
Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about that. What you do is make sure you take care of you. And if someone invades your space, like Malcolm said, and if you don't do anything about it, you're being anti-American. You take them out.
There you go. I love you, huh?
All right, big dog.
Man, it meant a lot. I didn't expect you to come here today, but that meant a lot to see you.
Yeah, it's always good.
Okay. I love you, huh?
All right, thank you, brother.
All right.
And you tell my grandniece,
Your great niece.
my grandniece,
Your grandniece.
and then my nephew
Your grandnephew.
continue doing what they're doing because they're doing a good job with their life.
I will tell them. All right, call me.
All right, bye-bye.
All right.
Tell them I'm very proud of them.
Blessings. I'm just laughing at you, Unc. You put on a show. You came in here and you put on a show, and now you leaving. I love it. I love it.
But only because they have to go.
I got you, Unc.
And then after I come back from my vacation.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Good seeing you.
All right. Well, that was a lot. That was a whole lot. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys enjoy y'all time with Uncle Ben? When you want your food, I'll come get it. Uncle Ben says Zoe is dark white. I hope you guys enjoyed it though. Seriously, I hope and like just living life, man, you lose your sense of self. Like things go wrong in your life, you run into disappointments in your life, and you lose your sense of self. And you know, I don't believe in accidents, man. I needed, you know, to be in the presence of my uncle. Like I said, I didn't call him. I didn't know he was going to show up. He just showed up. And it's just, you know, you never know, man, where that reinforcement or whatever will come from. And he just showed up, man. I just needed to be in his presence. All right, I'm going to go. I love y'all, man. I'm out. Deuces.